All right, this is also my favorite segment of the show, Barack, because you know all of the segments on the show are my favorite segments, but it's time for power rankings, but for the hardest punchers in the sport today, Barack. A lot of big hitters in boxing today.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, so first, well, I'll say at number 5, Anthony Joshua, 88% knockout ratio, big puncher. He's a heavyweight. You expect that with heavyweights. And Canelo Alvarez, though his percentage isn't that high, I mean, lately he has shown tremendous power. I mean, he didn't knock Saunders out, but he broke his face in 4 places. So obviously he's a big puncher. And you got Gervonta Davis, 95.8% knockout percentage. Barack, I mean, he could be pound for pound one of the hardest punchers in boxing because he's such a small guy and packs such a heavy punch.
And that guy is probably the hardest puncher pound for pound in the sport. Understand that his one fight that he didn't knock the guy out was years ago when he was fighting like 6-rounders, right. You know, and he's knocking everybody else out at the level that he's at right now, and that's insane.
Now Arthur Beterbiev, though he hasn't fought, in my opinion, has beaten elite fighters yet, he's knocking everybody out. He has a 100% knockout ratio, and Deontay Wilder, arguably the hardest hitting heavyweight in history, 93.1 knockout ratio. I do feel, in my opinion, Barack, that he needs to maybe knock a few more big names out before we can say he's the hardest punching heavyweight in history. Because let's be real, and this is not a shot at Deontay, I'm talking about all of these guys. Most guys have a lot of knockouts early in their career when the opposition isn't great. But when they start knocking guys out at an elite level, that's when you can call these guys big punchers.
And that's a good point, because when I first looked at this list, the Zone Power Rankings, I said, well, why is Canelo on here? You know, yeah, he's a hard puncher, but a lot of guys are hard punchers. Daniel Jacobs is a very hard puncher. Yeah. Triple G is a hard puncher. Errol Spence is a hard puncher. These guys are very hard punchers. You would tend to think of the guys like Edgar Berlanga or Dorticos, guys like that. Anthony Joshua should be higher, you know, but there's another way to look at it, and that's level of competition. And that's why Beterbiev, yeah, he got 100%, but he's not fighting that level. So you don't get to display that kind of power anymore, but you still have that natural power. And that's why if we're just talking about natural power, I would probably take Canelo off of this list and pick the guys up and put the guys on there who's knocking everybody out.
All right, you mentioned a level of opposition. If we're basing it on that, would Beterbiev be the guy that we remove from this list?
Yeah. Yes.
Who do we replace him with that's not on this list?
Errol Spence.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not upset with that. I like that. And I don't want to forget about Triple G, who's a hard puncher. And
there you go.
Maybe some can say maybe a harder puncher than Canelo Alvarez in terms of knocking people out. But Barack, when he fought elite fighters like Canelo, like Jacobs, like Derevyanchenko, who's not even considered a Class A fighter, he wasn't able to knock those guys out.
Daniel Jacobs, he was able to hurt, he was able to drop, so he showed he still has that power. Canelo's special, he got this special chin, he doesn't get hurt, okay? He hasn't got hurt since he was 19 years old. You know, I don't want to compare it, I don't want to, you know, have that to be the measuring stick. But he still has that pop, he still has punishing people, but he doesn't have that one punch knockout power all the time anyway, and that's why I think Wilder, Gervonta Davis, and Edgar Berlanga, and guys like Dorticos, guys like that, those are the guys I would highlight.
Yeah, I mean, it's safe to say that there are a lot of guys that can make, like if we did a top 10 top punchers list, we can come up with another 5 names quick. Easy. So, but this is a great list. Maybe we would replace Beterbiev with another guy that's knocking guys out at a higher level. So, all right, that's Power Rankings, hardest punchers.